Welcome to the Underdog Pickup Show on the LineStar YouTube channel alongside my co-host, Tyler Wiemann. I'm Shannon Sommerville, and we've got your top NFL player picks on Underdog for Week 14. Tyler, I can't even believe it is Week 14 already. We've got some implications for fantasy football. I know a lot of people trying to get to the playoffs this week. Hopefully we can help out also with some player picks, though. What do you think?
I think we can. We've been on a roll. Might as well keep it going.
Well, last week on the show, we had a mix of red and green, and not in the cool festive way. A little bit too much red for my liking of last week's one. Although Tyler and we delivered with our picks last week. Bucky Irving, higher than 59.5 rushing yards. Wow, he crushed that one. 152 was what his final line was. And my Kyren Williams pick he had 104 rushing yards. So the others didn't really pan out for us. But this week, we're going to try to go 5 for 5. And if we do, one randomly selected commenter will win $100. So every week on this show, we put our money where our mouth is. And we like to give out our winnings if we put together a winning entry on Underdog. So what you got to do to enter it, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. You're in it to win it. It's that easy. It also helps us out in the good old YouTube algorithm department. And if you don't already have Underdog yet, make sure to download it. And when you do, use the promo code LineStar so you can get a nice deposit match. Plus, you can also get 1 free month of the LineStar app, which is the tool that we are using to help us find the best value in the player pick'em department on Underdog this week. So you can check that out for yourself if you'd like to at linestarapp.com. All right, let's dive into Week 14. We've got some pretty great games. There are some playoff implications in some of these. Some teams could punch their ticket to the postseason this week. In fact, a couple already have. But let's get into our player pick'em. We're going to start things off with a former Georgia Bulldog, Buffalo Bills running back James Cook, higher than 82.5 rush and receiving yards. LineStar projection and the consensus both endorse this one. Cook's averaging 81.6 rush and receiving per game. And going up against the Rams this week, a team that has struggled to defend against running backs. In fact, they ranked 25th in pass defense DVOA versus running backs, so through the air against running backs, and then 21st in rush defense DVOA versus running backs. Remember, Alvin Kamara had 112 against them just on the ground last week, and Saquon had 302 total yards, took a blowtorch to this young Rams defensive front a couple weeks ago. Now, the Bills, I feel like, could run into some problems in this one, but I don't think it's going to come in the form of their running game. What about you, Tyler?
I agree. It's just a great spot for Cook. One, it's both teams need to keep winning, so I think Cook stays on the field a little bit. And running backs have been gashing him. I mean, even Stevenson went for like 89 total yards. Yeah. A-Chain didn't have a huge game, but, he did fine. Ken Walker did well. Our team defense tool also has them 25th versus the running back, so I like the spot.
All right, let's keep it with the Georgia Bulldogs. Do you see a theme here, Tyler, on SEC Championship weekend? We're going to go to George Pickens, the Steelers wide receiver, higher than 71.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projection 86.5. The consensus is around 72.5, and Pickens is averaging 70 receiving yards per game, but he has been over that 71.5 mark in 5 of the last 6. Well, it just so happens that coincides with Russell Wilson taking over the starting quarterback job. In those 6 games with Russell Wilson starting, 81 receiving yards per game is what Pickens is averaging. Now, going up against Cleveland, they rank 30th in pass defense DVOA versus wide receiver 1, and this is a spot that we targeted just last week in that Denver game. Cortland Sutton put up 102 in that game. We cashed our over on that one, so we're going right back to this spot. Now, even though Pickens didn't go over them 2 weeks ago, he had just 48. That was a game where we were dealing with a lot of weather. In the second half, it was a total snow game. So I like Pickens to get a little revenge. They're back in Pittsburgh this week, so they don't have to deal with that creepy elf on the field in Cleveland, which, by the way, is super creepy. Can we all agree on that? Like, which would you rather have to deal with? The elf on a shelf or the Brownie the elf, the creepy elf on the field?
I mean, both are kind of creepy.
Exactly.
Here. But hey, I like the spot for Pickens. What's crazy to me is that Russell Wilson has brought consistency to George Pickens.
Right?
Week in and week out, he's around that 70 mark, generally over it. And I like the spot versus the Browns. We went there last week. Might as well keep going there when we have a guy as talented as Pickens.
Now I feel bad for ripping on Russell Wilson last year when he was doing the high knees on the plane, and
Oh,
we
I
were kind
still
of
want to
dogging
rip
on
on
him.
him. He is so cringe. I
But he's having a
like,
little
yeah,
moment.
he's been playing better, but man.
It's still a little bit cringeworthy. All right.
Oh,
How
he's
about
so cringy. It's so hard to root for him with how
I
cringy he
know.
is.
Well, a fun guy that's been really fun to root for this season has been Chuba Hubbard for the Carolina Panthers. However, I think this is a spot we have to fade this week. So let's go Hubbard lower than 59.5 rushing yards. Now, LineStar's projection does tend to lean to the over. So we will throw that projection out there, but he's averaging 77 rush yards per game. However, going up against a really tough defense this week in the Philadelphia Eagles, who could punch their ticket in the playoffs with some help this week as well. 5th in rush defense DVOA is what the Eagles are rolling in with at home. And this is a defense that just held Derrick Henry to 82 rushing yards, which if Derrick Henry averages over 100 rush yards per game. So that's a good feat. Kyron Williams, another great running back, had just 72. Brian Robinson, just 63. Rico Dowdle had 53. So I think that kind of puts it into perspective here. We're also dealing with a situation where he had 43 last week versus Tampa Bay. They're 10th in rush defense DVOA, so they're facing a better defense. And we have the added fact that Jonathan Brooks is in the mix now for Carolina. Tyler, if I am the Carolina Panthers, I want to know what I have with this running back that I drafted in really high. I think first round was a first rounder, correct? So I would like to see what he can do with the football, going into the offseason. So I think Hubbard could, it could detract from his overall numbers.
I really don't care that Brooks is in there again. We've seen Miles Sanders taking work from him all year long, and they just paid Hubbard. They paid him after drafting Jonathan Brooks, so they obviously like him and think he's going to keep getting the football. But the thing is that he's averaging 16 rush attempts per game, and then you're talking about going against the 5th rush DVOA team. Like, that's just not a situation that is going to lead to many overs. Mm-hmm. This rush D is very good, and I think it's going to be hard. There's a couple different factors here. Can Carolina stay in the game long enough to give him the volume? And then also, is he just going to be good enough to be able to do it?
Yeah, this is a pretty good front for the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And this is a motivated team, again, that could punch their ticket. They're at home this week. So like you said, the game script, I'm not sure if it lends itself to the over on rushing yards here for Hubbard. So we're going to go lower here on Underdog Pickem. All right, so those are our top 3 that we have come to a consensus on. But now it is time for Tyler and I to each pick our favorite pick for Underdog for Week 14. So Tyler, take it away.
I got to go to the man, George Kittle, higher than 53.5 receiving yards. Our LineStar projection, 60.6. Consensus is 53.6. The thing here is we're back to no CMC. We're back to no Brandon Ayuk, and he's averaging 64.9 yards per game this year. The Bears, 18th versus tight end, but they've really given it up to the second and third options of offenses, and that's exactly what George Kittle is. They also just got beat by Laporta. He didn't get many yards, but he did catch 2 touchdowns. Hawkinson just got 114 yards on them, and I think they're a little more susceptible to the tight end than some of these numbers have shown.
All right, Tyler, unrelated question, but in this game, the Bears are 3.5 point underdogs. Do you think they can pull off an upset here?
I mean, the 49ers, frankly, have not been very good, so I would say, yeah. I mean, they can.
I'm kind of liking the Bears this week to win this game. I mean, if there's any time you want to go up against San Francisco, it's when they don't have CMC, when they don't have all those guys. But like you said, they still have weapons there, Kittle being one of them. So I like that spot.
We're also a little worried about Brock Purdy's shoulder. I mean, he missed the game, came out last week, didn't really throw, but it was the snow situation too. So, poor weather. Not 100% what's going on with Purdy's health, but He practiced all week. He was throwing this week. I think he'll be good to go. And if he's good to go, I have absolutely no worries with Kittle.
All right, let's roll with that one. For my pick, I'm going to the New Orleans Saints and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, higher than 35.5 receiving yards. I think this is a little bit low. LineStar's projection endorses the over here at 40.6, the consensus as well. And this is a line that MVS has been over 3 of the last 4 games. That coincides with since he'd been traded from Buffalo to New Orleans, and he's going up against the Giants this weekend. Need I say more? Well, I will. 31st in pass defense DVOA versus opposing teams wide receiver 1, which actually MVS is. They've got a lot of injuries. No Chris Olave, no Rashid Shaheed, and when you look at this Giants defense, yeah, they held CeeDee Lamb in check, but that's a Cowboys offense with Cooper Rush at the helm, so I'm not taking any stock in that. But before that, Mike Evans did put up 68, so I think MVS could be in kind of a Rashid Shaheed deep shot role in which he could probably get over this pretty quickly. MVS is also, when I was looking a little bit further into some numbers here, 2.844 yards per route run. That's versus single high looks. That actually ranks 12th in the entire NFL. And when you look at the Giants and the kind of defense they're playing right now, they deploy single high looks at the 4th highest rate in the NFL. So this could be a good play here, kind of a sneaky one. And this game is at the Meadowlands. The only thing I'm concerned about weather-wise is maybe a little bit of wind in the Meadowlands, but it should be a nice day there. So I like MVS here to go higher than 35.5 receiving yards. So those are our top 5 on Underdog. Let us know what you think. If you've got any locks for us here for week 14, let us know in the comments. And make sure to also tune in. We've got a whole nother 5 player picks on our prop bets show that's more geared toward the sports book. So make sure to tune into that. You'll get 10 completely different NFL player picks for week 14. We've got some good ones this week, so make sure to tune in. And again, if we go 5-0, one randomly selected commenter will win $100. I know that could go a long way in your holiday shopping this season. You know what? And we got to get ourselves back on the nice list here with some wins. So if you've got any locks for us, drop them in the comments below. All right, everybody. Good luck in week 14. And if you've got any really significant fantasy football matchups this week, may the odds be in your favor. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you next time.